Meet the Ford Extended Service Plan, ESP. ESP isn't new. In fact, since 1977, millions of Ford and Lincoln Mercury new and used vehicle buyers have purchased extended service plan contracts. Why ESP? Because ESP is a service plan backed by Ford at each and every Ford and Lincoln Mercury dealership. It's the only service plan backed by the Ford Motor Company. ESP is a service plan that gives you peace of mind by protecting you from the rising costs of repairs. Here's how it works. The extended service plan covers thousands of parts and major repairs, and there's no charge for parts and labor except for a small $25 deductible. That means you can take your ESP protected car or light truck to any one of 6,500 Ford or Lincoln Mercury dealers across the U.S. and Canada, and the most you'll pay is $25 for any covered repair. Can you imagine repairing an engine or transmission for only $25? But there's more. ESP assures that all repairs will be made with Ford authorized parts. And if your vehicle is in for repairs overnight, we'll provide you with rental assistance. ESP also provides towing assistance, no matter where you are when you need help, to the nearest Ford or Lincoln Mercury dealership. Plus, there's another big ESP benefit for you. ESP protection can help increase the resale value of your new Ford Motor Company vehicle, because ESP coverage on a new vehicle is transferable. That's an important consideration. Here's why. When you get ready to sell or trade your car or truck, for just a $25 transfer fee, the new owner can enjoy the unused portion of your ESP coverage. Ask your dealer about an ESP plan to cover your vehicle. With available plans ranging up to 5 years and 50,000 miles of maximum protection, there's a plan for you. Ask your dealer today for all the details of the Ford Extended Service Plan. It's the only plan backed by the Ford Motor Company. Buy now. Buy ESP. And buy peace of mind.
Top professionals doing the jobs they've been trained to do and doing them well. Hi, I'm Clint McGee, and today we're going to talk about what you professionals have been trained to do: sell. Everybody knows that baseball takes a lot of dedication, desire, and practice, and more practice to get into the habit of doing things right. Once these habits are established, you naturally develop a confidence that makes it easier to keep doing things right. Selling is the same way. You've got to be dedicated. You've got to have that desire. And you've got to practice to develop the habits of being a successful professional salesperson. Now, the measure of your success is your closing ratio. The number of times you make a sale compared to the number of times you get to help a customer. That's a lot like a baseball player's batting average or fielding record. Okay, let's talk about improving your closing ratio selling ESP. Why? What's in it for you? Watch.
Charlie! Wait a minute, pal. Don't buy a car from this guy. I did that once, and now it's going to cost me plenty. Your service department gave me a $1,500 repair bill, and I had to pay for the rental car, I had to pay for the gasoline, I had to pay for the towing on top of all of this. Then, you see, I'm at the cashier, and I meet this guy who's got the same problem, but it only costs him $25. You know why, Charlie? Well, I'm going to tell you why. Because this salesman sold him on ESP. He gets free towing. He gets rental car reimbursement. You didn't even mention ESP to me. But look at it this way, Charlie. You're never going to have to lend me your demonstrator again. You know why? Because you're never going to see me again. That's why.
Believe me, friends, I've never seen a deal blown by trying to sell a customer after-sale items like rust-proofing or ESP. And think about this. Anything else you or your dealership can sell him is plus commissions. Got that? Then you've got to master the ESP programs and the ESP benefits. Next, you've got to believe in ESP and believe that your customer will receive a real benefit from it. Then you've got to sell ESP. You can't get your batting average up if you never step up to the plate. And that means making that sell on ESP every time you sell a new or used car or truck. Every time. 100% solicitation, presentation, and follow-up. You do these things and you'll increase your batting average in selling ESPs. So, how do you step up to bat for ESP? Let's find out. In some dealerships, you TO the deal and the presentation of ESP to an F&I business manager or the sales manager. In those cases, you as a salesperson have to start that TO right and maintain control of the customer, or you could be throwing wild to first base and the sale can be lost. Costly errors like those even happen in professional baseball.
Here comes the pitch. Butt down the third base line. Valenzuela's going to field the ball, picks it up, throws it over to first base. It's over his head. 2 runs are going to score.
Let's take a look at a real wild throw in a TO.
Thank you, Mr. Kemper, for buying your car from me, but I've got to be going now. Mr. Henry, our finance man, wants to talk to you anyway. He'll take over from here. Jerry, Susie, page Jerry for this customer, honey.
Well, who do I make my check out to? And who's Mr. Henry?
What do you suppose that customer's wondering? He'll be on his guard and very negative when he meets Mr. Henry. Okay, let's see how Bill handles the ball with a reluctant customer.
Okay, Mr. Carter, you've got yourself a deal. Let's go back to the business office and we can get it all typed up on the computer.
Oh, that's okay. You go ahead. I'll wait here.
It's our policy that no one but our business manager can handle cash or review private financial papers with our customers. It's his job to make absolutely sure everything is correct and satisfactory to you. It'd be more comfortable for you if you could come back to his private office. So if you wouldn't mind, this way, Mr. Carter. Oh, here's Mr. Henry now. Ed Henry, this is Bob Carter. We've just written up the package here on the links.
Okay, Bill has his deal
And we're about ready to come
and
into your
has
office.
properly prepared his customer to meet the business manager.
Good resale.
Build a habit of making strong, positive, and polite introductions of your customers to your management. You can't do anything more important to submit the deal and get the customer's relations with the dealership off to a good start. How do the baseball pros win games? Sure, they have game plans and strategy, hit and run, steals, playing a batter to pull the ball, but they all learned and practiced the basics. Well, you sell successfully using the basics of selling. You've got an 8-point selling plan, a 6-position sell, an 8-step demo plan. All these provide basics you learned as a green pea salesperson. Now, I want to stress this point real hard. You sell the car first. You won't even get up to bat for after-sale items if you don't have a sale in the first place. When that's all agreed to, then you can go on to ESP and your other after-sale items. Now, there's your basic steps to selling ESP. First, you've got to qualify your customer. With ESP, that's easy because everybody who buys a new car or light truck up to 11,000 pounds GVW is qualified as a prospect, as well as many used cars you retail. Second, you've got to present ESP. Then you demonstrate ESP. Finally, you've got to close the deal and get the customer's signature on the contract. Okay, let's start at the top of the list with qualifying, and it looks like Charlie's up again.
Now, we do have a number of extra cost items we offer to give you added protection for your new car. You know, things like service policies, burglar alarms, rust proofing. Of course, you aren't interested in those because they will add to your monthly payment. Right, Miss London?
Well, how expensive is rust proofing?
Old Charlie's at it again. Now, that's what happens when you pre-qualify someone. All you need to know is which contract they need. Once you've learned the ESP program features and benefits, and you build your belief in the program, your responsibility as a salesperson or business manager is to sell ESP to everyone. Qualifying a customer, of course, is easier for ESP since you already know a lot about the customer. You know his or her driving habits, personal or business background, and that lets you ask a few simple and direct qualifying questions on ESP.
You remember what I said during your demonstration drive about a way to protect your investment, don't you?
Get the idea? Each customer qualifies himself or herself for an ESP presentation for one reason or another. Okay, now that your customers have qualified themselves for one of the 3 available ESP contracts and they'd like to hear more, it's time for step 2, the presentation.
Let me tell you about ESP.
The key features are extended service plan are detailed right here in your contract, Mr. Potter. And the new Mustang, which is an eligible vehicle for 5 years or 50,000 miles from date of purchase. Ford Motor Company will pay for the repair or replacement of covered parts, and all this coverage, including the towing and other benefits, will protect your daughter when she takes the car.
Charlie, could you go back over the part about 3 years? I didn't catch all that.
Whoa there. That's not a presentation. That's a hillbilly auction. When you present a product to a customer, you simply state the feature of your product clearly, explain the feature, list the benefits your customer will receive from it, and then you let your customer decide if the feature and benefit are what he wants by asking him. Now that's something you'd like to own, isn't it, sir? It's what I call the SELL technique. I use it and I teach it because it works.
You're planning to keep your Escort for 3 to 4 years, is that right? Well, one of the key features of the 550 full coverage ESP plan is that it's transferable to the next buyer. This will likely increase the value of your car in the mind of the buyer when you do decide to sell. Now that's a feature you can appreciate, isn't it?
Now, if the customer says yes, you ask him to buy. If the customer says no, you ask him why.
No, not really.
Why do you say that?
You need to know what's in a customer's head in order for you to decide which way to go. Bill will keep saying why until he understands what the customer will say yes to. He'll be able to use every one of his customers' no's to ask more questions and to keep the presentation going and maintain control of the sale.
I don't think I'll put 50,000 miles on it, and in 3 to 4 years I plan to let my daughter have it.
In that case, your daughter will have the same protection uninterrupted for her first 10 or so thousand miles. Protection against rising repair costs for your daughter is a big consideration for you, isn't it?
It sure is.
Bill can go on to other features and benefits now, or go for the close. Now, before we continue, let's take time to talk about ESP sales tools. You know, in baseball, the ball, the glove, the bat, protective equipment, everything is kept simple. Each tool has a purpose. I like to keep things simple in sales too. Here's the idea. If you know the details of ESP, you can sell from the contract itself. After all, that's what they're buying. If you feel more comfortable, use the brochures and wall poster. Qualify your customer for one of the available plans and then use the contract or brochure to explain the features and benefits.
The key features of our extended service plan are detailed right here in your contract, Mr. Potter. Now, you can see here that on your new Mustang, which is an eligible vehicle, for 5 years or 50,000 miles from the date of purchase,
no matter which plan that you sell, new or used, you can use the contract just like Bill did. Remember, if you feel more comfortable, use the wall poster or the brochures that are available. Either way, keep your presentation simple. Okay, you've done some study on ESP. You've learned a few new ideas. Well, it's time you got up to the plate and swung at a few good pitches and play batter up. We'll give you 20 questions based on this program, 20 at-bats. You only get one swing each time you're up. After you've answered all the questions, we'll tell you what your ESP batting average is. And I'll give you something to shoot for. You should be batting 500 on ESP. Easy. With more practice and effort, you should hit 800 consistently. That's what ESP pros all over the country are batting in their showrooms. Okay, you're up to bat. Follow the directions at the bottom of the screen. Wasn't that great? So how did you do? To find out if your average is 500 or if you're up there in the big leagues with the pros at 800, follow the directions at the bottom of the screen. If you didn't do so good, work at it, will you? And remember, practice, practice, practice. Game-winning performances, but remember, they all involve the application of the basics. Remember our basics, the 4 key steps to an ESP sale? We qualify, present the product, and then go on to the demonstration. How do you demonstrate ESP?
Suppose your wife's out shopping someday. It's winter. It's snowing. Suddenly, the transmission goes out. What are you going to do? I'll tell you what you're going to do. You're going to pay for towing. You're going to pay for over $1,000 in repairs. You're going to rent a car. And you know who's going to pay for it? You are.
Whoa! First of all, you never ever disparage your products. You'll make your customers wonder just what kind of car they've just bought. There's no point in trying to scare them half to death. True stories about satisfied customers or common sense analogies work a lot better.
I have a customer that needed some major repairs, but she couldn't afford such a big repair bill. We checked her owner file and found out she bought ESP when she got her car. She'd forgotten all about it. You can imagine how she felt when she found out it would only cost her the $25 deductible, and she'd get a rental car to drive while hers was being fixed. I believe in ESP because my customers have proven that ESP really works. That's why I put ESP on every demonstrator I buy and sell, and it's why I own this policy on my own car. ESP is just like a service contract for a major appliance to protect you against rising parts and labor costs for unpredictable repairs. You can see the value of those benefits, can't you?
Bill sells ESP because he really believes in the program. His belief is easy for him to project into his presentation and demonstration. One more point on presentation and demonstration. Get in the habit of starting with the 550 full coverage plan and then move off that if the situation warrants. If you're selling 336 plans, you may be shorting the majority of your buyers today who are keeping their cars and trucks longer than 3 years or 36,000 miles. Now, it's time for step 4, the close, to let the customer make the final buying decision. But he won't tell you what's on his mind unless you ask him for the order.
How much? Well, let's see here. Not including finance charges. Let's see, Bronco. $705. Woo-wee. That's more than you paid for your premium sound system.
You don't close on the total amount just bang like that. You quote payments. And you want those payments to sound as affordable as possible.
Did I explain the ESP contract clearly, Miss Reynolds?
Yes, very well.
Good. From a cost standpoint, we can include ESP into the total amount you're financing. On your Mustang, how's $3 a week? That's a very reasonable cost for your peace of mind, isn't it?
Yes, it is. And I think I can handle that all right.
Fine. Okay, the contract on that line right there.
Okay.
Now, personally, I hope you never have to use it. But if you ever do, you know you'll be taken care of.
Again, closing on ESP should always be in terms of payments. And here's how you can do it right off the top, just like Bill did. Now, business managers can quote payments to the penny. But if a customer asks how much ESP is going to cost while you're in the middle of your 4-step selling plan, you might find this formula handy. You multiply the total ESP retail contract price by 3. That's it. A rule of thumb that gives you a close approximation for monthly payments. If the contract is $400, first you make it 4, then multiply by 3, you've got 12. Your customer's monthly payments will be about $12 max, and that includes finance charge. Try this. If the contract is $275, round that off to the high side, $300. Multiply that 3 by 3, and you get $9 per month, including finance charges. Of course, some customers will need a weekly number, so divide the monthly charge, say $12, by 4, and that $400 contract becomes a $3 a week payment. Now, Mr. Smith, that's a price for peace of mind you find comfortable, isn't it? Sure it is. Less than 3 packs of cigarettes or a pair of pantyhose. Got that? Easy? Now then, let's take some extra time to see how you can use the sell technique to control the sale and handle objections. Here's a way to handle a customer that wants to know price before you even begin your presentation.
How much is it? Well, once you choose the specific ESP plan that meets your needs, we'll see exactly how ESP can be incorporated into your monthly payments. That's reasonable, isn't it?
Even if Bill can get his customer off price when it comes up too early in the sale, he might also run into objections other than price. To keep the sale progressing, keep asking questions. When he says no, ask him why. When he says yes, ask him to buy. Like this.
I've never needed it before.
And I hope you won't need it in the future. But did I clearly explain how you can lock in a contract price now and protect yourself against rising repair costs in the future? Was I clear?
I won't own the car long enough.
In that case, remember that ESP is transferable to the next owner. You'd like to have that added value on your car when you sell it or trade it in, wouldn't you?
Considering cost factors for a minute, you'll consistently find that service contracts for a major appliance like a TV or microwave run 20 to 30% of the purchase price versus ESP, which is considerably less. One last objection. I'll buy it later.
You do understand that if you choose not to finance the ESP now, you'll have to pay cash in full when you do buy it later. And I can't guarantee the contract price itself a few months from now.
If you can't close your customer on any of the available ESP contracts for whatever reasons, be absolutely certain your customer has signed the ESP waiver. That waiver, if used properly, can be a very powerful strikeout pitch you can deliver.
Okay, Walker, you don't want ESP?
No.
You know what that means, Walker?
No.
No towing.
No.
No rental reimbursement.
No.
No transferability.
No.
No lock on the price of parts and labor. No guarantee of first-rate Ford parts. Professionalism.
No.
Ford-trained mechanics. No coverage. No nothing.
Oh, I know. I'm sorry.
Okay, Walker. Sign here.
Not like that, Charlie. Like this.
I need to have you sign the ESP waiver. It's our record that you were presented with an opportunity to accept this contract and that you do not want any of the coverages ESP offers. Just sign right there and date your signature. We'll keep this waiver in your vehicle's file, so there won't be any questions about your decision in the future.
With a powerful tool like the ESP waiver, a lot of your reluctant customers might get the message. If they have to sign for something they don't want, it must be a pretty important decision, one that they should seriously reconsider. If they're thinking that, they're right. It's especially important for the growing numbers of used vehicle buyers to consider the added value of an ESP policy. Properly presented, ESP can increase the value of the particular used vehicle in the minds of most used vehicle shoppers. So, if their used vehicle qualifies, follow the 4 steps. Now, let's just briefly review what we've talked about here. When you're selling ESP, the first thing is that you have to know ESP. You have to believe in ESP. Then you have to be convinced in your own mind that this is a good thing for your customer and that he's going to derive real benefits from it. Then you have to get into the habit of presenting ESP on every deal you write. 100% solicitation, presentation, and follow-up. And while you're selling ESP, remember to follow the 4 basic steps of selling: qualifying, presenting, demonstrating, and closing. And just go right through them in order. And a good way to maintain control of the sale is the SELL technique. And when you get into that habit, following these simple steps and get up there and swing at every opportunity you get, you'll be batting over 500 in no time. You and I both know that the higher your batting average, the more money you'll make. But more importantly, you'll enjoy all of the benefits of fewer customer complaints, fewer service-related hassles, no loaner problems, greater owner loyalty for long-term sales follow-up, plus repeat business. Ultimately, you've made your customer a happy customer, and he'll give you and your dealership credit for that. That's why ESP is known as the ultimate option. So get out there and start swinging.